Wheezing and coughing fitfully, Henry Clay, fighting through the snowdrifts, makes his way to the door of Daniel Webster. He knew he needed the support of the country's most renowned orator and statesman, for it was a time of great division in the country as abolitionists and anti-abolitionists clashed in Congress.
The abrupt end of slavery would destroy the Southern economy. The South would be forced to choose between abolition and secession.
The Constitution is a covenant with death and an agreement with hell. The African people were in no way inferior and should be treated as equals. When you Southerners make profit from poor African slaves, the trade is damaging Africa. Do you think it is moral to treat people inhumanely, tearing them off of their country?
These arguments had grown incredibly heated, and the idea of secession was growing in the minds of both sides as gridlock remained in Congress.
I am an abolitionist, and therefore I am for the dissolution of the Union.
I rely on my slaves, and there is no point in living in a country that does not support my morals or my way of life.
It was in this atmosphere of a splitting union that the politician, Henry Clay, had a plan to save it. However, in order for this plan to succeed, he needed Daniel Webster.
Mr. Webster?
Who is it?
Henry Clay.
Come in.
Mr. Webster, what is your stance on slavery?
You know I'm an abolitionist. Slavery is evil and stands against everything I believe in.
I agree, but don't you think we need slavery in order to keep the Union together?
What do you propose?
Look, to keep the South here, there have to be some compromises. California could join as a free state. Slavery would be abolished in the District of Columbia, but the South has to get something in return. They want stronger fugitive slave laws and no rules on slavery in New Mexico and Utah.
Mr. Clay, you know I can't support that.
There's no way around it. Some senators want to secede from the Union. We have to give both sides something to stay.
You do realize supporting this compromise would be going against everything I believe in. It would destroy my career.
I know it's not the easy choice for you, but it's the right one for the Union.
Webster knew what he had to do, even if it would endanger his political career.
Okay, I'll sign, but I'll have to discuss this with Congress.
On the 7th of March, Webster stepped into Congress to speak in favor of the compromise.
I have come to the conclusion to support Henry Clay's bill, which will bring California into the Union as a free state, abolish slavery in the District of Columbia, strengthen fugitive slave laws, and establish no laws against slavery in the new states of New Mexico and Utah.
What? I thought you were an abolitionist.
I am. This bill goes against every moral I have, but it is what will keep the country unified.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Mr. Webster. I fully support your stance on this deal, and I commend your faithfulness to your country.
I absolutely disagree. I believe that inconsistencies of opinion arising from changes of circumstances are often justifiable. But there is one sort of inconsistency that is culpable. It is the inconsistency between a man's conviction and his vote, between his conscience and his conduct. No man shall ever charge me with an inconsistency of that kind. Mr. Webster, you have betrayed your own party, and you are no longer a candidate for the presidential nomination. Sir, you have ruined your political reputation.
I am sorry, but my hands are tied. I have to choose between my morals or the good of the country. You shall sign this bill too, if you want to keep our country unified.
Trust you on this one.
Webster's political courage shined as he went against his party and morals in order to do what he thought was best for the country. He threw away his political career in order to save the Union. And as JFK put it in his book, Profiles in Courage, a man does what he must, in spite of personal consequences, in spite of obstacles and dangers and pressures, and that is the basis of all human morality.